primary to run Congress the way it's supposed to run, and the Republicans are committed to doing that. So this will be a very important step, and we'll see what happens in December. My encouragement to my Senate colleagues is to do your work. Bring some appropriations bills to the floor and pass them so that we can all work together to get this job done.
Chad. You served on the weaponization committee here. There was a supposition made today by Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General for the DOJ, that there may have in fact been covert federal agents in the crowd at the Capitol prior to the riot. Do you know anything about that, and what do you make of that, if that's in fact true, which he intimated could be in fact in his report?
I heard that on the floor just now. I've had a busy couple of days, but that is an alarming bit of information. Obviously, we will be digging into it further, and I'll be requesting classified briefings on that. If that is indeed the case, we got to get down to the bottom of that immediately.
Yes. What odds on the way that you feel about Republicans keeping the majority? What odds would you put on?
Oh, I'm very bullish about November. I've been traveling the country nonstop. Some of you know what I've been doing. I've done campaign events in 207 cities across 39 states so far, and I have a everyday full agenda all the way through the election. What I'm seeing around the country is a real energy on the ground. I don't think the polling is even accurately reflecting that, but even the polling, almost all the polls favor the House Republicans to keep and grow the majority. So I expect a very strong November. I'm convinced we're going to win the Senate as well, and I believe Donald Trump's going back to the White House.
Like in other words, what would you have to say to play? There'll still be a split?
I would be a fool to project a certain number of seats, but let me just say I'm very optimistic. I mean, we have, I'll just say this, we have extraordinary candidates in the field to flip some of these seats from blue to red and to fill the open seats. And it's at the end of the day, it's not about the quantity of the cash, it's the quality of the candidate. And the people that we have out making the case and providing answers are providing it in the right tone and with great credibility. And so it has just really been resonated well, I think, with the American people.
Are you intent to move forward as Speaker, even if you're, or as Republican leader, even if you guys can't hold the House?
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I believe we're going to hold the House, and I intend to be the Speaker in the new Congress. I think continuity is going to be very important. I mean, we're aggressive agenda for the first 100 days. I believe we'll have unified government, and so there will be a lot of responsibility upon us. So we don't put the cart before the horse, but we have to be prepared to lead, and we will. And I intend to lead this group into the next Congress.
Any comment on the tweet that Clay Higgins put out today about Haitians?
I heard about that on the floor just now as well. Clay Higgins is a dear friend of mine and a colleague from Louisiana, and a very frank and outspoken person. He's also a very principled man, and I think he tweeted. I didn't even see it, but he tweeted something today about Haitians, and he was approached
by January 20th.
Okay. Well, look, he was approached on the floor by colleagues who said that was offensive. He went to the back. I just talked to him about it. He said he went to the back and he prayed about it and he regretted it and he pulled the post down. That's what you want a gentleman to do. I'm sure he probably regrets some of the language he used, but we move forward. We believe in redemption around here.
Are you confident? on President Zelensky to fire Ambassador Markarova.
I did.
Could you explain this and also tell what if she wouldn't be fired?
Well, listen, I sent a letter to President Zelensky today because the ambassador crossed the line, and I think she involved him in that. They made a campaign stop on behalf of the Democratic Party and effectively have given a tacit endorsement to Kamala Harris. That's not what we need our allies to be doing, or any foreign nation. I think it's election interference, and I think it's an unforgivable trespass, and I think the ambassador needs to take responsibility for that and be terminated. So I asked him to do that immediately, and I think
and now expected to be a Category 4, a major at landfall on the Big Bend tomorrow. This is Paso Grill Beach. You can see some of the work being done. There's been this huge beach replenishment project. They raised the beach about 4 feet here. That's important because we're expecting, if the peak surge happens at high tide, up to 8 feet of water rise, which is nothing compared to what we're now expecting the upgrade in the forecast in the Big Bend, up close to 20 feet. Fox Weather's Robert Ray was in Steinhatchee, Florida earlier today, and he caught up with a Florida resident preparing for the storm. Take a listen.
Last storm was going to be as cake compared to what we're going to go through now. And right now we're getting everything emptied out. Anything that can float become a hazard. And then later on we're going to go board up our houses. I'm planning on staying as long as I can. I want to stay. I'm going to wait till the last minute.
Are you? Okay. And yeah. I mean, the surge here could be
15 feet.
Yeah, maybe even more,
yes,
which is,
just keep moving my up the road.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's
you
the
guys,
best I can do.
absolutely, and you guys are getting the boats out of here.
Yep. We're getting the boats out. We're prepping for everything.
Yeah, the National Hurricane Center, their bulletin in this latest update said efforts to preserve life and property should be rushed to completion. So obviously using the last quiet time here to pull his boat, try to protect some of that property as this storm approaches and continues to strengthen as it does so. I want to bring back in Fox Weather's Jane Menard. Jane, I know you're there close by in Weather Command with Brian digging into the latest in this bulletin from the National Hurricane Center. That's a rough update. One, the storm is stronger. We expected that. But now a Category 4 at landfall with a surge up to 20 feet.
Yeah, I mean, truly, it's a pit in your stomach when this forecast doesn't get any better for anybody. And in fact, it keeps getting worse. The impacts far-reaching. We're looking at video just then of Naples, Florida, and those outer bands that are already impacting the peninsula. And the advisory, Ian, tropical storm force wind gusts already extend out 345 miles from the core of this thing. And so that's already impressive, knowing that this storm is going to continue to grow in size. And you talk about the persistent tropical storm force and then the hurricane force winds that are still to come over, Florida, northern Florida, where that landfall happens, densely populated with trees. This is a very real danger we're about 24 hours and change out from.
Yeah, Jane, 345 miles already for tropical storm force winds. Irma at its peak, I believe, was 400 out from that center of circulation. And that's how, when it cut into southwest Florida, we had hurricane conditions occurring simultaneously on both coasts. But the surge with Irma, which was a giant wind field, giant wind fields push more water, most of that went into the Everglades. That's not going to be the case this go around, which is why there's a surge possible in the bay and right here on the coast in Pinellas County, 35 miles of sandy beaches of up to 8 feet possible if that happens at high tide. And then it only gets worse as you move farther up the coast into the Nature Coast. And I know the Big Bend, and now up to 20 feet. I think you're showing that graphic on the air right now. So numbers like that, people haven't seen. If you're in one of these places, that's unsurvivable. You have to leave if you've been asked to.
And we've talked about this before, how in Tallahassee, there's no storm of reference for something of this magnitude, for how powerful the storm is going to be, for how quickly those impacts are going to ramp up on landfall. Because of the forward movement of this, the push of those hurricane force winds, the most damaging aspect of this storm, when you talk about the flooding rains, that is going to come in so quickly and penetrate so far inland.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure that you are prepared and hunkered down by the time we get to tomorrow morning, because you don't want to be anywhere out and about during this storm.
The paper-like notebook for things to remember.
And to expand their lungs. Yes, Frankie?
At this stage, what oxygen levels are considered concerning?
Kindle Scribe. It's knowledge in your hands.
When I heard I was approved by OneMain, I was very relieved. I was ecstatic. I just felt like a ton of weight was lifted off my shoulders.
Hey, being a ways away from this storm, but that's exactly what's headed in that direction.
Ian, that's right. So I drove just about 30 minutes. I'm now about an hour from Tallahassee, hour east in Madison, where people are preparing right now. The wind just started really picking up here. And most people I've spoken to today say Florida has just kept getting hit with these tropical storms and hurricanes, so they can't imagine just being hit again.
We're still cleaning up from the last two, actually. So we still have debris from Idalia, actually, on our property, and so we're just, a little tired of that. So we're actually praying for it to go somewhere else. But we're encouraging other people that may be in mobile homes or, maybe they're not living in a strong structure to take the precautions and leave if they need to.
That local pastor was helping people grab and fill sandbags here that the city provided, and some grocery store shelves were nearly bare for essentials today. People were picking up bottled water, dry foods, and anything they may need to stick out the storm in case of a loss of power. I was also speaking to one woman who said normally she wouldn't evacuate. Now she has a little baby. She said she's not going to take any chances with this here, especially with the National Weather Center saying this could be now a Category 4 we're looking at. And the governor here, Ron DeSantis, declaring a state of emergency for almost all the counties here in Florida. So people are really taking notice of this and taking precautions as well. Back to you.
Yeah, storms like this, Oliviana, with a big wind field, they take longer to spin down, so they keep some of that intensity. Plus, you've got an accelerating forward speed, which brings those impacts to you faster. And we always say with a tropical system, the story doesn't end at landfall. That will especially be the case with Helene. That's Fox News multimedia reporter Oliviana Calmes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep it right here on Fox Weather, your Hurricane HQ. Our continuing coverage continues. We've got live pictures for you. One is from just off to my north, up into Pasco County. That's Hudson. It's on the left side of the screen. Yeah, there it is. Then you've got Navarre, Florida as well. We've been watching some of these bands moving through the extreme outer fringes of Helene as it approaches, rapidly intensifying through the overnight hours tonight. Now talking about a Category 4 storm, a very dangerous one at landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida tomorrow. We've got coverage for you 24/7. Keep it here on Fox Weather. We'll be right back.
We now have Hurricane Helene. The worst of this storm is likely yet to come.
We're really taking it right now. A very dangerous, perhaps deadly scenario.
With each rain band